Multifamily real estate, particularly, is a team sport. I mean, you need a team of what? Brokers, lawyers, you know, lenders, property managers, accountants. This is a bunch of players that have to kind of interact to make any deal possible. So to really get to the apex of it, to really achieve your goals, you need to develop relationships. You need to kind of have a team player mindset. It's so difficult as a solo person to do anything in this space because you may climb up, but it would just be a slow climb.
Welcome to the Share the Wealth Show, where minority professionals can learn to escape the racial wealth gap and catapult themselves into abundance. Your host, Nicole Pendergrass, grew her net worth from being negative to multiple six figures. Join her on her investigative mission to expose secret strategies of the wealthy so we can all have the tools needed to build the life and legacy we were created to possess. Now it's time for the show.
Hey guys, so we're back again. This is the second part of the episode with today's guest. I need you, if you have not heard part one, go back to the previous episode and listen to that first, and then come back and join us here today. But you're not going to want to miss what they already said, because then you'll be lost with what they're about to say. But in any case, you don't want to miss you need to hear the whole conversation. This is why we split into two parts. There's so many nuggets. It's so juicy. Go back and listen to the first part. With that, we're going to move over into the real estate side of things. So first, though, you still actively an orthopedic surgeon?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do it until my hands can't do it anymore.
So I'm looking at you and your partners at Excite Capital. Everybody's still active in their jobs, right? In their W-2s?
Yeah, everybody's still active in their jobs, but not necessarily in W-2s. My partner, Leslie Awesome, it still works as a CRNA, but not necessarily full time.
Okay.
And my other partner, Tenny Tolafari, is a cybersecurity consultant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, maybe they finangled a little bit of time, but you have no time. How are you so this whole conversation is about people creating that passive income. So they could invest. I'm sure you're going to share how they can invest with you so that they can just have that passive income coming in. But what you are doing is not passive because you are an active operator. So how in the heck do you have time to do that?
Well,
as an orthopedic, and there's no excuses because you have a young girl, a 10-month-old. Is she still? When was this printed? How old is she now?
That was actually, she's 22 months old now, and I have another one.
And now you have another one.
5-month-old. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So, but
you know what? Because I have a W-2. I'm still working full time, and I have two young kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, two daughters, and it's beautiful. Yes, and they run me ragged. And I'm doing real estate, and I'm doing this podcast, and I'm doing my W-2, and I'm taking it. And my job is nowhere near as demanding as yours. So how? Please
I'll tell you.
Share the secrets.
I'll tell you all. It's the power of community. When I say power of community, I mean the community of my partners. I have both Leslie Awesome and Kenny Tolafari, who are the most amazing partners. I'm able to leverage their time, their energies, their resources, their incredible knowledge, their tenacity, their persistence. I'm able to leverage all of that to advance our mutual goals of educating people in our communities about the asset class that we are experts in, and also helping them to create wealth by as a result of that education. And without them, there's certainly no way to do this. Because when we've also hired to make our lives much easier. We have an incredible team, including Braden Hyde, who is our investor relations associate, who just is amazing and incredible. including Macy Price, who is like our marketing specialist, who is incredible. So, I mean, we've hired very well. We've been quick to fire when people are incompetent, and we've been slow to hire. And so what that has helped us do is essentially hire like a fantastic team. And I mean, we have other folks that work with us maybe on a part-time basis, and people like Manny Allison, who helps us with underwriting, people like Forrest Brown, who's helping us with some of our acquisitions work. People like Kylea, who is also helping us with some of our acquisitions and back end support. So, I mean, we've put together like a great team of people who are literally working on a daily basis to advance our company's cause, and we run a very tight ship. I mean, we have a deal flow systems and processes that is super tight. There's a certain number of deals that has to go through that process on a weekly basis. There's a certain number of LOIs that goes out on a weekly basis. There's a certain number of deals that needs to be underwritten on a weekly basis, and we hold each other accountable to those. So, and that's kind of the type of ship we run. And also, we implemented Traction. Are you familiar with Traction, the entrepreneur?
I haven't read it.
Entrepreneur operation system.
Yeah, it's on my list. I have not read that one yet.
So absolutely. So that is worked magic for us. We literally implemented that. And since then, I mean, we have done close to $100 million in acquisitions since then. And it's incredible. It's been a game changer for us, because we have a total of about $125 million in acquisitions so far. 4 deals, 2 as lead general partners and lead sponsors, and 2 others as co-general partners. But I mean, we stay on top. We have goals, and we figure out what we need to achieve those goals. We reverse engineer those steps, and we go at it. What do we need to do on a daily basis? What do we need to be doing on a weekly basis? What do we need to be doing on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, and a yearly basis? And that's how we've been able to achieve what we've been able to achieve so far. But we're just getting started as far as I'm concerned. And because the response from our community has made the job even easier. You know, maybe initially when I was having to, for our first couple of deals, I was having to, I'm also very intense when I when I decide to do something. Initially I would have to create a list of 500 people and call for 12 to 14 hours on a weekend day just to get like a small fraction of them to invest in our deals. Now the investors do the job for us, because they now are getting their distributions. They see the proof in the pudding. They know, like, and trust us. And so they are willing and ready to invest with us and bring all their friends to invest with us. So they are actually our best advocates. And they go out there and tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends. And before you know what, from one group, from one person, we haven't 5 folks to invest with us. And that's how we've been able to, our last deal, which we closed in April 2022, we raised $7.52 million to buy a $17.4 million deal, 112 units, downtown Columbia, South Carolina. And we were able to raise that in less than 30 days and oversubscribe on it.
Wow.
And then the way we do that is just, obviously, when we started to raise $1 million was hell. It took calling like hundreds and hundreds of people, but now it just happens over time. And it's the power of community. That's what I meant by that.
No, I get it. That was a great example and just explanation of your team and how you built it and grown. And I may have to pick your ear offline more about how to grow from a company of one to bringing on the people instead of having, some VAs here and VAs there, which is fine, but having some people who are more like invested in the company and the company's mission and want to grow with it and help the company grow together. So bringing that on team and like working with people on a consistent basis would be great. And so I'm definitely going to reach out to you more.
No worries. I'm here for you, and I'm sure.
Why don't you just photocopy your whole like business manual and send it to me? I could give you my address.
So actually, if I had one, I'll just send it to you. But whatever it is that I got, I can certainly share with you. No questions about it. We pride ourselves on a spirit of abundance at Excite Capital, and one of our goals is to help others create as many Excite Capitals as we can out there. So that's why when you were saying earlier that we're gonna tell people about how to invest with us, I'm like, no, actually, guess what? My primary goal is to educate, right?
Yeah.
And so either you invest with us or invest with others. But as far as you, the person in our community, is investing and growing your wealth and growing your mind and get into it the next level, my job is done. The universe has a special way of making that spirit of abundance pay off in too many ways, and I'm a testament to it.
Yeah, so, same here. I completely agree with that. I'm definitely beyond blessed, especially when you look back from where you've come and how far. You might not be exactly where you want to be. You may have more goals in the horizon, but if you really reflect on what you've accomplished so far, just be grateful and blessed with that. And I know I definitely am. And I can see with you and probably your partners too. I haven't met them yet, but it sounds like a great team.
Yeah, we're blessed. Good. I mean, our philosophy is if you want to go fast, you go by yourself, right? You want to go far,
go together.
You go together. So multifamily real estate particularly is a team sport. I mean, you need a team of what? Brokers, lawyers, lenders, property managers, accountants. This is a bunch of players that have to kind of interact to make any deal possible. So, so to really get to the apex of it, to really achieve your goals, you need to like develop relationships. You need to kind of have a team player mindset. It's so difficult as a solo person to do anything in this space because you may climb up, but it would just be a slow climb.
Yeah, and really slow.
So it's always better to like kind of go with others, and eventually you go to a certain point yourself, and then at some point decide, okay, I'm going to combine efforts with others so that I can leverage their energy, their time, their network, their everything. And that's what we've been able to do. We started actually my partners at Excite Capital started the business before I joined. Yeah. And both of them had been, Leslie, but in particular, who I was working with, had reached out to me to be a passive investor in the deal they were raising for. And I eventually, around that time of COVID, when I looked at that particular deal, and I started to read more about, this asset class, I called them back and I was like, listen, I want in. I want to be a part of this amazing. And even though they had not closed any deals yet at that point, but and once we got on the phone, we spoke for almost 4 hours. We didn't even know where the time went. So that was when we knew that we were meant for each other, and the deal was sealed. We came up with a number, and did the deal, and I became an equal partner, and then we took off after that. 4 months after that, we closed our first deal.
Oh my goodness. And that's momentum too. Like you don't have to go slow when you're together. Like, sometimes actually, I think going by yourself, you can sprint for a little bit, but you can't sprint for too long. by yourself.
Exactly.
Like you have no one else to pass the baton to, So
that is a great analogy right there. Yeah, because even if you're sprinting, you can't do it forever.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just came up with that on top of my head.
So that's incredible. That's incredible. Absolutely, you deserve it. You deserve it.
So we're gonna be wrapping up, but what I want to kind of get at is when you discovered real estate, what about it specifically, especially for you as a high earner, made you just blew your mind? Maybe it's something that you didn't realize before, something that was different than being an angel investor, besides the risk of angel investing, which I know. But where was that differentiator that made you lean toward multifamily more? And even because you had done a few single families and now scaling into multifamily because you had these other experiences. And there must have been something very particular or eye-opening about it that drew you in.
It was just the power of the economics of scale. When you think about, so if you had a single home that you were renting out and you can't find a tenant right away to fill it up, or you were transitioning between two tenants for that 1 month, you have a 0 occupancy, 100% vacancy. You are paying your mortgage that month. That money is coming out of your pocket. Now let's just double it up. Let's go to duplex. Now you have a duplex. One tenant is out of one, but one tenant is still in one. Now you only have a 50% occupancy. If you make it a quad, now you have only a 25% occupancy. If just one tenant is out of there, and you still have 25% vacancy rather, and 75% occupancy. And so that same tenant not being there, if you have a quad, has less impact on your abilities to pay your mortgage, to have cash flow, to have passive income. The more you grow up, and now let's go to 100. When you have one tenant out of there, you have a 99% occupancy and 1% vacancy, which is beautiful, right? So, but the challenge is, and by the way, the banks, the insurance company, Wall Street, all the smart money are buying these properties. This is what they buy to hedge against inflation, to cash flow, to grow their wealth, all right? So, but they are banking on you, the banks, to bring your money in. The moment you put your money right in the banks, right, that money becomes a liability to them. Guess what they do with it? They invest it, they lend it out, they do something with it, they generate income with it. All of a sudden they're making, 5, 7, 10, 20, 30% on it. And they give you a nice 0.1% if they've been generous. So think about it. If they are doing that, why can't you do that yourself? Why can't you find ways to invest that money? So when I started to discover these things, it blew my mind. I was like, man, wow, I consider myself a smart person, but this is not smart. Keeping all of this, trying to save. You cannot save to wealth. Just remember that. You cannot save to wealth. You can save to a little bit of money, to maybe some riches, but you can't save to wealth. You can't save to create legacy wealth. So when I discovered all of this, and I discovered the wealth creating capacity of real estate, I discovered that it's a tangible asset, unlike things like stocks and crypto, which is just existing in either virtual worlds or in some computers. This is something that I actually can touch. I could walk in it. I could open the rooms. I could see the toilets. I could see it. It meant so much to me. And then when I realized that it was going to be possible to actually provide great accommodations for other people. I'm in the service business. I serve and help people walk that are having quite a bit of pain and debilitations in their function. And this, just like I'm helping people to walk in my day job, I'm helping people to financially mobilize in my, real estate job.
Ooh,
So,
I like that.
so that for me was, just gave me so much joy. So, and then when I really rediscovered that a lot of people in our community of healthcare professionals, a lot of people in our underrepresented minority communities just didn't really even have access to this. I mean, I consider myself savvy investment wise, but I didn't know about this. I didn't buying 100-unit building wasn't not in my realm of possibilities. I mean, of what I could do. And so when I was realizing that, man, this is possible, even though I don't have the $20 million to go buy $100 million 100-unit building, I could, through multifamily syndications, pool resources in my communities. And then 60, 80, 100 of us could pull our resources and go buy that same building and take advantage of the wealth creation, wealth generating, cash flowing advantages, tax advantaged, benefits of these buildings. Oh, it blew my mind. Yeah. And guess what? Around the same time, I realized that I really was developing. I was born and raised in a lower to middle income country. And I did total joint replacement in the first place because my grandmother had end-stage knee arthritis and couldn't get access to a joint replacement surgeon at that time. So by the time I was in residency, unfortunately, she died. But now I get to replace other people's grandmas, uncles, aunties, fathers, mothers' knees and hips, and it gives me so much joy. And particularly when I get to do it in low to middle income countries and help to expand access in those places. So, and to do that, I discovered that to really be able to engage with that work of expanding access in places that didn't have access to those surgeries, I knew that I needed to buy some of my time freedom back. And real estate was a great way to do that. And so, I mean, I could continue to go on about the multiple reasons why it just made absolute sense. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love doing what I do, and I will probably continue to do it for a long, long time. I love the institution that I am currently at because they give me a great platform to do this work and engage with it fully in a way that is very meaningful. And they also support a lot of the work that I'm doing internationally, which means a whole lot to me. So I certainly don't want to I don't want to stop working. A lot of people do real estate to stop what they're doing. I love it too much. The operating room is my happy place. I don't want to stop, but I certainly want the freedom to be able to maybe do a little more of some of the international work I'm doing. I would love to have the autonomy to take my family wherever I need to take them at whatever time I want to take them, for as long as I need to take them without having to worry about, the income that needs to come in and things of that nature. And that's the kind of freedom that real estate can give you. I'm all in, and it's been just an incredible journey so far.
Wow. That was super impactful and very touching. Just your story and your why you even went into orthopedic surgery in the first place, and that how, even though you couldn't help your grandmom, now you can help other people's grandmoms. And I love that, and then that gives you the freedom, like you said, with real estate, it gives you location freedom so that you can go to these other places and you can help in a wider area of people who don't have access. And so you've taken that not having access with mobility. And like you said, you're helping people be financially mobile as well, because you're taking that same mission into the real estate side and your investment vehicle. And we are very much aligned when it comes to that, because, my whole platform is about helping minorities and underserved communities have access to these types of opportunities. So I'm still working on that. I'm still on the journey, but
you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I love to see, people like you, people who look like me, people with the same mission, moving forward, because you're leaving that trail to follow. And so I thank you for your service and your work that you've been doing in both realms, the medical field and in real estate. So that's fantastic. Thank you for
so
sharing
much.
that. Yeah. Wait, don't go yet. Have you been looking for a way to get started in real estate investing, but you just don't know how? You need the LAUNCHPAD. It's brought to you by my company, Norvest Holdings. And the LAUNCHPAD is a free guide with a ton of resources I've compiled to help you invest into your first real estate syndication. It includes terminology, book resources, video explanations, all the information that you need. Don't know what a syndication is? I got you covered. How to find a good operator, how to even tell if a deal is good or not without having to know how to underwrite it all. It's all in there. The LAUNCHPAD is designed to help launch you into the next stage of your investing career and get you invested into your first multifamily syndication as a passive investor, meaning you can be a landlord and own a piece of a large apartment building, but still go about your day-to-day life without having to stop and learn every single detail about what's under the hood and how it all works. The link to the guide is in the show notes. Make sure you sign up today. Again, this is a free resource and guide. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. Now let's finish up the show. So what we're going to do now is actually I'm going to ask you the last couple of questions that I ask every guest. Ooh. So the first one is, Warren Buffett actually said that diversification is protection against ignorance. Now, I kind of take that to mean that people diversify because they don't know what they're doing. So they're using that to hedge their investments. And whether that's good or bad, just depends on your viewpoint on it. But what do you think about diversification in that statement that Mr. Buffett said?
Well, Warren Buffett can say anything that he wants to say, and he'll probably be right. I mean, the guy's proven throughout his life work that he is deserving of making a statement like that. I think what he was just trying to say, at least from my perspective, is that you need to be focused. You need to have a main focus and a strategy for wealth creation. And, yes, you could have peripheral other sources of income. I mean, I think the IRS at one point released a publication that says the average millionaire in the US has about 7 sources of income. For me, diversification is having multiple sources of income so that even if one sector is impacted adversely, that you will still overall fine. And for me, the main source of focus for me when it comes to investing is real estate, obviously. Prior to real estate, it was angel investing. And so now I feel like I've gotten about 6 of the 7 sources of income covered. The only one is left is the products focused income stream. And I do believe actually to some extent that almost everybody needs to, especially in this digital world, that you kind of need to, have some products out there that you are, selling out to the world, because there's great opportunities there. I just don't have the time or energy to do it at this point, given everything else that I'm doing. But at some point, don't be surprised if I tell you that I've got some store. I'll probably be a silent partner in it, but don't be surprised. But yeah, I do believe that to me, I think you still have to be somewhat diversified. You have to have one main focus where you solely believe in it. You do a deep dive and really understand it properly, so that regardless of the economic conditions and the market conditions, you're going to be fine. Just like now, even though the interest rates are going up and there's a little bit of angst in the multifamily real estate community, I'm not stressed. We just have to kind of modulate some of our strategies to fit the current realities. But I know the fundamentals, and I know that if I stay following the fundamentals, that I'm going to be okay, and my investors are going to be okay. So not really stressed at all. Actually, I think there's going to be great opportunities coming up, you know, in the next several months in the multifamily real estate. And I'm just at this point tightening our operations, getting us ready to take advantage of those opportunities when they come. So when you have that level of mastery of your main source of investment, then you could kind of, sit back and relax a little bit, but also continue to invest. I mean, I have a small crypto portfolio and I don't know much about it, but like dollar cost average, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if it works out, great. If not, great. I don't try to buy the low or sell high. I just dollar cost average it. Yeah. With my stock portfolio, I don't know how to trade on a daily basis, so I have somebody manage that for me. For other sources like angel investments, I'm investing in actually the founders. I want people who are greedy, who are adaptable, who have great ideas, who are not just going to quit at the first, sign of trouble. And that's when you pair those types of founders with a good idea, then the company has a great chance of surviving or doing very well. So that's usually my strategy there. So I mean, there are multiple examples, but I think you just have to, have one main focus, but also kind of, spread your, eggs in a few baskets.
I like that. So have the focus on the one that you're actually going to be active in kind of building up, and then kind of passively invest in some other ones that diversify your portfolio. So that's great advice. Second question, actually, have you played Monopoly before?
Yeah, somewhat peripherally.
Okay. Baltic Avenue is the cheapest properties, one of the cheapest, and Boardwalk, is the most expensive. So what is your strategy to win? Which property are you buying first and why?
It depends on how much funds I have to start. If I have quite a few funds a lot of funds to start, then I'll probably, and depending on the growth prospects of the expensive property, after significant research, if I'm able to determine that there is significant growth prospects, and I have the money to buy on Boardwalk, is it Boardwalk Avenue that you said? Yeah, then I'll buy that. But if I have scraps and I just need to get started, there's still a lot of wisdom in buying on Baltic Avenue, and particularly in areas close to
close to Boardwalk.
Go to Boardwalk, so that I could start taking advantage of maybe some expansion of Boardwalk Avenue. So that would be my strategy. But yeah, I'm not.
So the basic answer is just get in, just get started, just buy something.
Absolutely.
No matter which way it goes.
Absolutely. Because it doesn't matter. Even if you fail, you learn so much. So you only fail by not trying at all. Because I know some of the people in our communities who are so paralyzed by their overanalysis of every possible scenario that could go wrong with any investment, including stocks, including crypto, including real estate, where they just so paralyzed that they don't move at all. And they just keep their money right in the bank.
But you know what's funny? They keep their money safe in the bank, and then the bank is investing it because they were too scared to.
Absolutely. And the bank managers love them.
Yeah.
They love them. And they also love the feeling they get when they walk into the bank. The bank manager is like bowing down to them like they, something, and they love it.
You're investing whether you're actually deciding to or not, right? Exactly. Somebody's investing your money unless you're keeping it under the mattress.
That's a great way to say it. Absolutely. So the whole idea is you gotta get started. the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And that time to take that step is now.
Mic drop. Boom. I don't have sound effects. So boom with my fist on the table. But in any case, so I just want to thank you. Oh my gosh, this conversation was great. We talked for a while. This is excellent. Like we could have probably talked for so much longer too.
Oh yeah, we could have kept going for the next 2 hours. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What is also going to say? Oh, tell people. Thank you, first of all, again, for coming on and sharing all your experience and wisdom and insights with people. And I really hope they took something from this. It would be crazy if they didn't. But in any case, how can people reach out to you if they want to know more about what Excite is doing, if they want to connect? What's the best way to reach you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I'm on LinkedIn, Julius Oni, JuliusOni, but also, you could just email me at juliusoni@excitecapital.com. That's XSITE capital.com. And my first name is JuliusOni. Just Julius Oni at excitecapital.com. Also, you could just come to check us out at excitecapital.com. That's our website, XSITE.com. There you can find a lot of information, that can educate you about what we do. And our multifamily real estate could be another way for you to create passive income and grow your wealth. We pride ourselves significantly on particularly the education that we provide. We also have a meetup every first Mondays of the month. The exciting world of multifamily meetup, and it's virtual, so you could join us. So just follow us on all our platforms and join us in the meetups, and let's engage in these conversations and continue to grow together. So thank you.
Perfect. We're going to have all those links to your contact information, your website, the meetup, all of that we'll have in the show notes so that everybody can just access that easily. So thank you again, Dr. Oni, for being with us today. Everyone, if you have gotten any kind of insights or nuggets from today's episode, please give us a rating or review so that this information can be shared with other people. Actually share it with your friends and family if this is something they need to hear. We're trying to share information. Share the Wealth is about sharing information of how to build wealth that we don't normally have access to because we're living in our own worlds. Every world is different. You can be so easily separated from the information. It could be sitting right next to you. You don't know that it's there. Absolutely. And it exists.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I love that your platform's about education. So thank you too for bringing that.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This was a great conversation. Thanks so much for creating this type of platform to educate folks, and I just can't say thank you enough for the opportunity to speak on your platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, everyone. So that is a wrap, and we will see you next time.
Did you love this episode of Share the Wealth Show? Be sure to connect with Nicole by following her on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. If you picked up any of the gems that were dropped by today's guest, make sure you not only put them in your bag, but if you know of someone who would benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth and make sure to leave us a rating and review. We'll see you for next week's episode. Subscribe so you'll be notified.